Hello everyone, what's going on? It's yours truly again, it's Kat Rio, the girl with 9 lives. And this right here is the latest video from my vlog, y'all. So, hi everybody. I am so happy to report that the fog has been lifted and I've gotten through this week's bout of deep depression that I deal with on a regular basis. So just to clarify, I actually have been diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder back in 2014. I was medicated for many years and it regulated my moods very well. Unfortunately, the same medication also made me feel very numb. And so I can never experience really high highs or really low lows. It was always like kind of like in the middle. And that causes friction in my life sometimes because I want to be really excited over certain things. And if something's really sad, I want to be able to do more. So against my doctor's wishes, I decided to go off medication about 2 years ago and was pretty much successful with stabilizing my mood on my own for the most part. But due to recent events of me getting divorced and living by myself and dealing with a lot of feelings of alienation, it definitely has made my bipolar 2 disorder come back full throttle and then some. And so about once a month, sometimes twice a month, I go through very dark periods in which I have debilitating depression. And this time I wanted to record it because I wanted to implement it in my videos and let you guys know some of the other things that I deal with besides gender dysphoria. And also in case people needed someone to relate to when it regards to mental illness, because it's definitely a taboo topic and I wanted to let people know that they're not alone. So I did that. Well, now that you heard about my depression disclosure, that's no longer around. Don't worry, I'm not always going to film those videos, by the way, because they're not fun for me to make. I hate looking back at them. I think it's a very vulnerable position that I put myself in and I really don't like doing it, but I'm not gonna make a habit of it, so don't worry. Don't worry. Most of the videos are gonna be with me in a good mood, because that's how I typically am, until I'm not. Anyway, so this video is a two-part series because I normally don't do two-part series. However, in the one that I filmed last night, which is the beginning portion of this video, after I finished recording, I feel like it was really short of a video. You know, it was like 3 or 4 minutes long or something. And I felt like there was more that I wanted to say, but didn't want to say it because I was afraid that I was being too loud and keeping people awake, whatever. So after laying back in bed, I started thinking about what it was that I wanted to add to the video. I wanted to address something that has been kind of heavy in my heart since I made the video a few weeks ago. It's like the first video that I put on this particular channel, which is the one that I titled as I get attracted by, or trannies, the trans community hates me. That's what it was. So that video there, I go into how at this one place that I went to during my visit to rehab, that one of them was a LGBT rehab, and that it was specifically geared towards transgender people, and that but when I went there, I had a lot of friction with the other trans women there, and ultimately it led up to me getting attacked by them, or jumped, however you want to put it. And there's something that I left out though, and I don't feel right about leaving it out. And in the spirit of being open, in the spirit of honesty and transparency, I decided that I'm going to come clean about the entire series of events that took place, because by omission, I left out some really important key facts as to probably why these women were as ugly to me as they were. And that's because in everything that we do and all of our interactions, right, even if we feel that we are the victim of the situation, there's still a role that we play in it. Does that make sense? Let me explain further. So we have a responsibility in all of our actions. For example, if I wasn't walking down the street wearing a skimpy outfit at 3 o'clock in the morning in a terrible neighborhood, then I would not have invited somebody to attack me, you know? So not saying that that happened, I'm just saying, giving you an example. So there's a responsibility that we have to ourselves, to the situation that you're thinking about, whatever. So in this situation, when I got to the rehab, it was very evident to me when I walked in that the people that were already patients there had already known each other for quite a while. They were a little bit apprehensive of a new person, which is not uncommon in these situations. A lot of these people have come from the street. A lot of these people have come from rough beginnings. And so therefore, they're not as naive or as trusting as, let's say, somebody like me who had a much better upbringing and a much better stable family life. Because of this camaraderie that they had and this apprehension that they had about me in the beginning, I think it triggered some of my own insecurities. And when that happened, it kind of made me go to the other extreme, where instead of like being friendly and trying to win them over, I decided to act as if I didn't care about their acceptance at all, and in fact acted aloof and acted like, it had no effect on me, and even took it as far as to acting as if I was better than them, because of the fact that a lot of them came from rough beginnings and didn't have the same opportunities that were afforded to me when I was growing up as a kid. See, I had both parents. I had a really strong family unit. I went to a really good school. I lived in a really great neighborhood. So I really didn't have the misfortune that was bestowed upon these people. And I see that now. I see that I played a role in this. That one of the reasons why they probably didn't like me was because I was acting like a stuck-up, uppity bitch. Now, this behavior that I expressed was not isolated to this one event. I can look back in life and see in many situations from the time I was little, where if I didn't feel like people were being accepting of me, I would go on the defense by being completely passive aggressive and being like, I don't need you anyway, I'm better than you. And that's the kind of attitude I would have. And in the spirit of transparency, I don't like talking about these things. I think it's very embarrassing to have to admit this, and I'm not proud of it at all. In fact, I'm quite ashamed of this behavior. But it's like I was mentioning in the other portion of this video, it's about recognizing your faults, arresting your behavior, and then changing it in the future. And that's what I've been trying to do. So in that spirit, I am being honest with you and being forthcoming about my own behavior and probably what stimulated their, and what basically began to be the catalyst of their behavior towards me. So now that I can look back and notice where I went wrong, it makes it very clear to me that they were only responding to a negative vibe that I was putting out on top of their negative vibe. But their vibe wasn't necessarily negative in the beginning. It was just apprehensive, but I read it as negative. And I apologize for that. I'm sorry. Now, in regards to the girl that I called a liar, well, you know what? I'm not sorry about that, because she was lying. I wanted to call her out on it. Maybe there was some element of truth in her story, but I think there was a bias there on my part too, because I just didn't like the young lady. I mean, I thought I liked her in the beginning, but then I realized she was kind of fake and two-faced, and therefore I kind of was wrong for lashing out. What it boils down to is that two wrongs never make a right. And had it not been for my response of negative behavior, this situation probably would never have escalated to the point where it did. And this is something that I wanted to admit in front of everyone and to the world, because I do want to make a difference in this world. And by having this platform, I have a responsibility to the few people that watch, to anyone that watches, or even if you don't watch. But just having this platform, I think there's a responsibility to do better by society, to try and add to society, not take away from it. I don't want to be one of these people that makes people act out in bad ways because I influence them to do so. I want to be a good influence, and I want to have a good effect on society. So that's why I made this video and added to it. I really hope that this can help all of you that are watching think back on your own relationships that may have failed or ended in a bad way and see what role you played in it. And maybe by looking at it with different eyes, you can either rectify those relationships or modify your behavior so that next time you may not make those same mistakes again. So thank you for your time, everyone. I hope you got something out of this video. I know that I sure feel better, and I'm glad this video was made. And until the next episode, thank you for all of your support during my dark depression time. And I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye.